Hi, I'm Katelyn Swaney, an attorney with Hightower Ref Law.
Hi, I'm Ziola, also an attorney here at Hightower Ref Law. And today on the Lady Lawyer League, we're talking all things the gray area involving family law, the struggles of us answering yes or no questions. And we also compared, the realities of, a divorce and custody case versus what we see on television.
Yeah, all that and more on the Lady Lawyer League.
This is the Lady Lawyer League podcast, Omaha's leading lady lawyers, empowering women to be legal savvy. Hosted by Susan Ruff and Tracy Hightower-Henney of Hightower Ruff Law.
So this episode is really about the gray area of family law, which can be very uncomfortable for a lot of people going through family law matters. And so the big question here is, why can two families with similar situations walk into a court setting and have completely different results?
That's the magic question, I feel like. I think one of them is the jurisdiction. States handle things differently, right? It can also be down to the specific judge you get. Certain judges will order things that other judges won't even touch. And so in Douglas County, judges are randomly assigned. So it's kind of like the luck of the draw.
Yeah. And again, like it's the gray area. So it's not black and white. It's about a lot of different factors that go into family law cases and where they end up, the dynamics, the children, mental health, relationships, finances, and just human behavior. It's not really based on statutes.
Right. And I think people will say, oh, I know someone who got divorced and they had a similar circumstances than I did. But like, were they really that similar? Like, there's very detailed things that go into a divorce and a parenting plan that are probably very different to, your friend that you know down the street.
Yeah.
What are the work schedules? What's the income? What are your communication skills like with your ex-spouse? How do you each choose to raise your children? Usually that's quite different than what people imagine.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest cringe moments I have when I'm first talking with a client is they say, well, I have a friend who, and then blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, your friend went through that situation. I'm glad they had that outcome. It might not be the same for you, though. Be prepared for that.
Right. And I think there's ways in which, like, maybe your friend and her ex agreed on a lot of things.
Right.
And then you do get an order that may be really favorable. But if your ex-spouse is fighting every little detail, it's going to be a much different process for sure. And you're probably not going to like the result.
So what I want to talk about is why and how family law is not like what you see on court TV shows.
Right.
It's different.
Very.
And I feel like a lot of areas of law say that, like with criminal law, like, oh, it's not like Law and Order, but it kind of is. I mean, it is different. But with family law, you don't really see that much on TV.
No, and I would say TV is very dramatic, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, I watch Bravo, so a lot of the divorces just have crazy, crazy facts. Like, there's this one in Beverly Hills. Her ex, he's notoriously been horrible with money.
Mm-hmm.
And she was living in the home with her kids during separation. She just assumed he was going to pay the mortgage. And then she learned that they were over $800,000 behind.
Oh, my God.
Now, like, is that happening on, like, our average Joe divorces? Like, maybe not.
Right.
But, like, are people not paying the mortgage? Like, yeah. Should you maybe not fully rely on your ex to pay the mortgage for the house that you're living in? Maybe not.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. So there's some factors that are like similar that I see in actual cases, but a lot of times, like especially with custody things, like I don't think that that's something that's really well portrayed in TV shows and reality shows. I mean, because it is such an intimate situation involving kids.
Right. And I think people come to me and you may hear this, but people say to me a lot that Nebraska is a mother state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a mother's rights state.
Yeah.
And I I think it's the farthest thing from that.
Uh-huh.
I would say all of my cases, that has never even been a topic of discussion with judges.
No.
I think at this point, it's very much known that in Nebraska, you start with 50-50. And if you want something different than that, you work against that kind of default standard.
Yeah. Yeah. That's because I see articles and stuff about fathers' rights.
Right.
And fathers do have rights. Mothers have rights. But I think it's
Equal
that
rights.
concept. Yeah. It's that concept of, dads are being oppressed and, and that they have, they should have equal rights. And in Nebraska, I mean, that is true. Like, it's just the misconception that, automatically mom's going to get custody, or there's a presumption that mothers are more fit than fathers. But it's really case specific. It might be true. Maybe mom is a better fit than dad, but we actually have to get to that point of proving that that's the case.
Yeah. And I do see, I hate to be like super gendered in these conversations, but this is something I hear a lot of women come to me and say, well, he doesn't even give our kids a bath. And he never even gives them dinner. I give them dinner. I take them to school. I do all this. Like, yeah, those are very relevant facts. I understand, but those aren't going to be something that stops a judge from giving dad 50% of time with the kids.
Yeah.
The judge is going to let him figure out how to give kids a bath, and
Right.
and they're going to let him do it. So I would say that's definitely not something that's going to be anywhere close to getting you sole legal custody of your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. The courts, they definitely like to give opportunities
To
for parents
fail.
to show. Yeah. Like, okay, like, yeah, you say that, in this case, he has never done this. Okay, well, let's let him try to do it and then show, hey, see, he can't do it. Best case though, he figures it out. And then it's great. That's an ideal thing. You don't want your co-parent to fail.
No.
Yeah.
But
'Cause that's not
some
the
I
best.
think do.
That's true. As soon as I said that, I was like, well, you shouldn't want your co-parent to fail.
I always feel like there's like kind of two sides to the coin, right? There's women who come to me and they have fathers who could really care less about their kids, and then it's great. They get sole custody. They have full decision of their kids. It's great. But the opposite of that is maybe it's kind of nice to have an ex who cares about your kids,
Right.
and you each care equally about your kids, and you each want what's best for your kids, and you work out a parenting plan where you share them equally. I don't think it's great to just hope that your ex doesn't want to see your kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's about the children, right?
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say. I mean, yeah, you might not want to see them ever, but your kids do.
Yeah.
That's, the other half of them. Like, that's an important thing to keep in mind, that they're still their parent and they deserve to at least try to be there.
Right. I always think about how some people make the automatic assumption that they can just move wherever they want after a divorce.
Yeah.
Different states.
Yeah. I think that's something that's kind of showed in shows too, is, one parent just packs up and moves, across the country, and then, it's fine. They just show the two people living in different states and it's all fine.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big legal issue.
Huge. You're not moving to a different state without permission.
Yeah.
Or you're getting an ex parte filed against you and you're being ordered to return the child to the
Yeah.
state. That's, I think, the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I that's like my number one thing when people come to me and they go, they don't need a custody order or anything. They have full control. And then they're like, but I think I want a custody order. No, you don't need one.
No.
Because then you're having to ask permission to leave the state.
Just go.
Yeah. Just leave. Call me when things get fishy and dicey with your ex. But right now, no.
Yeah. And I think kind of bringing it back to like TV shows, reality, like there's some parts of family law where it's like, that's tea. Like, that's big. Like, this would make a good show.
Juicy.
But then there's other things where it's like, it's mundane and it kind of sucks. Like, it's really hard, especially again when it's about kids and what's best for them, and what the court is doing may not seem to be in their best interests. And so then it's really frustrating. And so that wouldn't make very good TV. Like, that's not a happy ending. It's not always going to be a happy ending in family law.
I think the custody aspect of family law is like the hardest because you're ultimately leaving decisions to be made by a judge who doesn't know your kids, doesn't know you, doesn't know your ex, doesn't know anything really about this other than the very small snapshot they get. and they're held to this standard that is in the gray area, best interest of the child, which, like, what does that even mean?
Right.
It doesn't, like, it means something different to everyone.
Yeah.
You could be saying, well, the best interest is that my child doesn't see their other parent 50% of the time for many reasons that you may think are totally valid, but a judge may not see it rise to a large enough level. So it's hard to get those results where you do feel like they're inherently wrong, and you have to live with it.
Yeah.
And you're right, that would be really crummy TV.
Yeah.
No one wants to watch that.
Yeah. Because, yeah, the judges, like you said, I mean, they see the worst of the worst. Like, at least where we practice, it's, you know, the judges handle all types of cases. It's not just family law cases. So they see the criminal cases.
Oh, that's the thing that bothers me the most. When people say things like, oh, you're in family court.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not a separate court.
It's all
same
court.
Thing.
Same judges.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, they see the worst of the worst. And so they're looking at these murderers and, you know, sex offenders. And then they're like, oh, dad feeds the kid fruit snacks for dinner. Like, is that really a problem?
Is the child eating?
Yeah.
That's, I think, one of the worst questions.
Yeah. So I think put it into perspective of where the judge is coming from is really important to keep in mind.
I always also like to kind of put in the opposite perspective, in the sense where you're complaining about, you know, the other parent doing something, like maybe yelling at your child and you disagree with the level, or being late to pick up the child from school, or like something that you think is an issue. But sometimes if you like flip it on its head, and maybe you were late to pick up your child, or you know, lost your temper with your child, like, do you want that to be a reason you lose custody of your kid?
Right.
No, of course not.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry. Oops.
Well, that's a good segue.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about kind of the biggest gray areas. We've kind of touched on them a little bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, really just thinking about this at the outset, the biggest gray area is the area itself. Like, it is all gray.
Yeah.
Like, there's very few things that I can have like a definitive answer for, where I can be like, yes, 100%.
Right. I think a lot of the times I upset people, but they will ask me a question and I'll say, I don't know, maybe that's a result that could happen.
Yeah.
This could happen. Or something that I completely do not anticipate could happen as well.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating for people. I can totally get.
Yeah. I hate that part of, like, I would love to give you an answer. I literally cannot.
Right. It's like the game of, like, is it legal? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's legal. Should you do it? No,
Yeah.
you shouldn't do it.
We need more context.
That part.
Yeah.
Context is so important. Tell me more. I think I say that a lot.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yes, it's a big thing. And that's something that I've learned in my practice. Is before I would just accept the information they gave. I'm like, okay, that's all of it. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then you come to find out later, like, there's so much more.
You get off the phone and you're like, oh, I should have asked this.
Yeah. Yeah. And so literally just that line, tell me more.
Why?
Yeah. Like, that brings so much
What do
more
you mean?
context into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do find that it's better for us to ask a lot of questions, but I also understand why people feel like attorneys kind of interrogate them.
Yeah.
And it's really, it's not me challenging you or wanting you to defend yourself. It's truly just I want all the information.
Right. Right.
And I feel like I give that caveat a lot of time when I'm on the phone with clients or on consults. I ask a lot of questions just because it's so necessary for what we do. It's there because, like you said, there's not just a simple yes or no answer.
Yeah.
It could be one thing. It could be a complete different result.
Right. Right. And so one thing that comes to mind, like thinking of gray area, I guess one area that maybe is a little bit more black and white is child support, because there's a calculator for it. That's
God
so
bless.
nice. I
God
wish there was a
bless.
calculator for everything.
Right.
Like, here's the facts of what mom does. Here's the facts of what dad does.
And
Spit out who
give
gets
me a
custody.
number.
That would be a game changer.
The funny part about that is there's still gray area with the child support calculation.
Yep.
What do they actually earn? Do they earn commission? Do they not? Do we need to average incomes? I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I trying to impute someone into earnings that they were previously earning but now are not? Can I do that?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So even the statutory thing comes with a bunch of other things.
Well, I think the key is that it's a child support guideline.
it's a guideline.
Guideline.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's not a strict yes or no answer, which is so unfortunate. I know that's so frustrating people, but it's literally written in the statute.
Yeah.
Guideline.
Yeah. That's so true. It's an important distinction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What's not certain is spousal support or alimony.
No, we don't get a calculator for that either.
No, you don't. People think we do. We don't.
Yeah.
Do we want one? I don't know.
I know. It could be nice. Again, put in the facts. Tell me what it is, and I can put that aside and not have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great.
But then would it?
Yeah. But then people who maybe aren't actually entitled to it do the calculation and be like, oh, I get this much.
The factors are so vague,
Right.
right? Like, what truly was the role of a spouse?
Mm-hmm.
Were they a stay-at-home parent because they needed to be, or did they just not want to work?
Mm-hmm.
Could they work and chose not to work? What is actually a long-term marriage?
Yeah. Yeah. How long do they need to get back on their feet? What's a reasonable amount of time?
Should the amounts be different when we're dealing with like a young family
Mm-hmm.
versus a family closer to retirement?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think judges know either.
No. I think that's a big thing with the gray area is like none of us know.
Right. And it's a lot of the times we're suggesting, well, okay, we suggest a spousal support amount based on what? The income that the spouse is bringing in and if it's meeting their monthly expenses, right?
Mhm.
So we usually have our clients do a very deep dive into what they're spending each month,
Mm-hmm.
what they anticipate they're going to spend post-divorce. And then we say, okay, well, what are you bringing home each month and what's the deficit? That's like a great place to start.
Yes.
Then you bring in the other factors. Are you close to retirement? Are you raising children in the home by yourself? Or how much difference is there truly in the incomes between the two spouses? And then we get back into the gray
Yep. And we're back.
Yeah.
We snap right back.
every
Yeah.
single time.
Yeah. And that kind of brings up a point of, putting forth those factors. You're not likely, but it could be two cases, exact same circumstances. Everything is the same.
Yep.
They're in front of two different judges, though.
Yep.
The judges can come to totally different conclusions and still both be right.
Correct. Because they based it off of what's reasonable.
Yeah.
What is reasonable?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. And so I think that's another frustrating thing is even with, the judges, the judges are unpredictable in themselves, but amongst themselves as well. It's
Correct.
not that constant, it's not consistent across the board of different things. And that doesn't mean that they're wrong necessarily. They might be, but they might not be based on the standards that we give them.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah.
And it's tough to explain that to people.
Right.
I was actually talking to my mom about this, and she was like, "Well, I would have had no idea that it was like that if I didn't know, if you weren't an attorney." She's like, "You would think that would be more black and white."
Mm-hmm.
And it's certainly not.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes it fun, I guess.
It does. It does, because then you do research and look at different cases. I'm like, oh, in this case, this happened. In this case, that happened. So it's kind of fun to do some digging. But at the same time, it would be good to know.
It would be easier to represent people, I would say, and give yes or no answers.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
sure.
God, I would love that.
I would love to get a yes or no
Yes. A solid yes.
without a but.
That would slap. Yeah. Yeah. Yes and no but.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is more important? Stability or flexibility?
Oh, come on. I don't know how you choose. I guess I would maybe say stability. I think that's something that judges would really look to in making determinations regarding children because
Mhm.
that's a really important factor. However, when you're raising children with now separated families, you need flexibility as well.
Mhm.
A lot of parenting plans will have very definite things. Dad gets Christmas from this on even years,
Mm-hmm.
and Christmas starts the 24th and it goes through the 26th. Like, those are very definite things. However, there are moments where you need flexibility,
Right.
right? I'm supposed to have, little Johnny on this day. Oh gosh, I have this big work thing that happened and I have to go out of town. I don't have an option. You want an ex? It's like, don't worry, I can pick up Johnny and I'll take your day and not be a big disaster.
Yeah.
Because that's when people come back from modifications, when they're incapable of being flexible.
Right.
And then you spend thousands of dollars fighting over all these little things that maybe wouldn't be an issue if we had some more flexibility.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, like the foundational importance of stability is really big because you need that constant. You need that schedule, you need that routine, like to build that foundation for the child. And then at the same time, you need to sprinkle in flexibility because it's not always going to be stable.
No.
You can't always go through the same routine every day without any hiccups. Like that's just life. And so you need to have flexibility. You need to be able to cooperate and work together in order for things to progress in the best interests of your children.
And if you're flexible, you're having less conflict. And less conflict is probably better for your child. It's better for you as in the parent. No one wants to keep fighting with their ex. Like,
no.
People want to move on with their lives and in a productive manner. And it's frustrating if the other side can't have some sort of flexibility.
Right.
Okay. Better parent. Soccer practice every other, what is that? Better parent. Soccer practice every other weekend or helping with homework every night.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it depends. So you have a parent who does the activities.
Right.
That's important. It's important for the kids to do activities, to be socialized, to get out there, get active. You have the parent who helps with homework every night. That's important for education, for schooling, for routine, instilling those good habits. And so I think, if one parent handles the activities, one parent handles the education, that's a great dynamic. I mean, that way one parent isn't doing both roles. You certainly can, like that's not impossible, but I think if that's the way that dynamic flows, like I think that's a good balance to have.
I think that's what people think they want. You have the one parent who has probably during the whole marriage has been that, the weekday parent, right? Making sure children get to school, doing those kind of routines. And then you have the parent who kind of picks it up on the weekends. But then I feel like I have the parent come to me years later saying, I'm the only one that does the schooling. He's the fun parent. He does all the good things. I'm the one that has to punish our children and put boundaries and rules, and the other parent doesn't do any of that. And I think that people get frustrated because there truly is that dynamic as the fun parent, which is the every other weekend parenting time. They always got to do something fun. And then you have the parent who is saying, nope, you got to go to school. No, you need to do your homework. Nope, you got to do this extracurricular. It's important. And I think that creates resentment.
Right. Yeah. That's absolutely, I feel like that's a common dynamic that I see. And yeah, the resentment piece is big.
Yep.
And hard to get over.
It's a big part of why people get divorced.
Right.
The resentment lingers, I think, for quite a while throughout a divorce. I think the earliest people can let go of that, the easier they are to move on.
Yeah.
But it is frustrating if the resentment continues through your parenting plan. So I always caution people who are like, I want full custody. He can have parent time on the weekends because this happens. And it's unfortunate. Or people take it in stride and they like all the control and they like to limit that. And if that works for you, it works for you.
Yeah.
Okay,
new job. Is that an opportunity or a problem?
New job in another state.
Yes.
Problem. Yeah. Huge. We talked about it, but removal cases in which what parent is asking to leave the state with the child are very hard cases to do. There's a lot of factors that are involved because ultimately when a parent leaves the state with another child, you're limiting the parent time of the other. And it sounds weird, but when a case is in a state, the court will say they have continuing jurisdiction, right? Essentially, the court has jurisdiction over what you do with your child. And if you want that to leave, if you want to leave, you have to ask. And it's hard to do that. So it's a problem for me.
Yeah. I think one thing I see a lot is, if my client is the one that has a job out of state and it's like, oh, this is a great opportunity for me. And I bring up, okay, what's, but we have to think about best interests. Well, it would be in my child's best interest for me to have this job because I'd make more money and I'd be happier. And that would be beneficial to my child. That's an argument.
It's one of the factors for removal, right?
Yeah.
Having more opportunity and being able to support your child more. But the other factors truly weigh on the rest of your child's upbringing.
Everything
so
else,
is your child leaving close family members?
Mm-hmm.
Is your child in middle school or high school where they have friends and they have activities they do and they have a routine that you're going to pick them up and move to states miles away?
Mm-hmm.
And you're discrediting the relationship your child has with the other parent.
Right.
If you move to a different state, it's not going to be a 2-2-3 or a 2-2-5 where a week on, week off. It's going to be, summers and breaks. And that, if it was on the flip side, how would you feel is, I think, the best question you could ask for them. And do removal cases get granted? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is it hard? Very.
Yeah, it's a problem. What are your thoughts on yes or no questions?
They're tough because I rarely can give an answer.
Yeah. Will I get custody?
Oh, gosh. Maybe.
Can I move?
Probably not.
Will I get alimony?
Depends.
Can my ex do that?
Probably, even though you don't like it. I think it's like, how can they do that? Or they took all the money out of our joint account and moved it. Like, yeah, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to address it. But is a police officer going to bang down their door and arrest them for it? No.
Right.
There's a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of things I advise people not to do, because not necessarily because they legally can't do it, but because it will set a fire to their divorce.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can rarely, answer things yes or no, especially the custody one.
Yeah.
That I maybe, probably not.
Yeah.
Sole custody, unlikely at this point.
Yeah.
Give me some more information.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah. That's the tell me more where it starts out like they want to hear yes or no. I mean, anybody, when you ask a question, that's what you want to hear. You want to know what you can expect. But there's just the phrase that I think we all say a lot is it depends. Like there's just it goes into all the things that we've kind of talked about. Like it goes to each party's credibility. If you're going to court, how credible are you as a witness? How credible are you, and the judge seeing that and being able to assess, the parents and what they're saying is actually the truth. Because when it comes to, the two just totally different sides, the judge does make a credibility determination to figure out, like, okay, who is actually telling the truth?
Right.
And so that's why, we have to prepare clients a lot for testimony, especially when we kind of get an inkling of like, they might not be a good witness.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I think it also, I'm actually glad we're talking about this, because I think if you are talking with an attorney and they are giving you a lot of direct answers, yes, no, 100%, you'll totally get that. That's a massive red flag, because I think part of our job is setting expectations and meeting them, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think if I were to tell a client, oh yeah, you'll for sure get sole custody, you're going to get this massive spousal support order, and you're going to get everything you want. And then we go into trial and you get none of that.
Mm-hmm.
How upset are you going to be?
Yeah, that's huge.
Like, I think honesty is a huge thing in our profession. I think honesty is a lot of the times why people question attorneys and say that snake attorneys, whatever, because they're out there. Don't worry, they are. And I think if you're having consults with especially family law attorneys and they're giving you direct answers, I think that's a huge red flag. And you should question what they're saying.
That's a good point. Yeah, because there's, people will come to us and maybe they've had a consult with another attorney or they've worked with a different attorney in the past. Like, oh, well, they said 100% yes to this. And like, I depending on the attorney, like I don't want to throw them under the bus.
Right.
Be like they're full of it.
Right.
But okay, here's what I'm telling you. Like I'm not avoiding your question. I'm avoiding not lying to you. Like I don't want to misguide you. I'd rather set you up to think that it's going to become worse than it actually is, because you don't want to expect the best and then have less of that.
Right. And just us saying like, I don't know, maybe, or like, I don't know, that could happen. It doesn't mean we're not asking for what you want. Okay, you want me to ask for sole custody. I'm going to ask for it. I just am going to let you know that I don't know if we're going to get it. We can certainly try. We can ask. We can, bang our fists on the table and show the court in 17 different ways why there are actually reasons for you to get sole custody. It's just the thing I have zero control over is whether or not a judge is going to believe us.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing I try to balance is like, I'm not disagreeing with you. Exactly. I'm just trying to show you what potentially could come down the line.
And it's not that I don't believe you that these things are happening. Like, I believe you. I just am trying to make sure I don't set us up for failure.
Yeah. We play, client's advocate, but also devil's advocate too. Yeah.
You mentioned some clients aren't great witnesses. Yeah. Tell me more about that. Why would you say such a thing?
I know, it's crazy. Everyone's great. I've had some clients in the past where I just know that if we were to go to trial, they would make horrible witnesses. And the reason that I say that is not because, I don't trust my client. I don't support, everything, their positions, not advocating for them. It's because of, the situation. Like, it is emotional.
Yep.
It is draining. And some people just don't cope as well as others. Especially when you're getting to those emotional situations, whether it be about money or about the children. Like, it is emotionally charged for anybody. But especially when you don't have the tools to deal with that and to appropriately conduct yourself in a way that is, conducive to a court setting. That can come to backfire. If you are quick to jump on things, if you, if you're reactive, if, I think of this more in the context of, and things that you see on TV, like a witness is being questioned by the other attorney, and that attorney can be a jerk. And that's kind of what they're trying to do. They're trying to get a reaction out of you, because if they get a reaction out of you, that goes against your credibility. Like, if you get mad at the attorney, or if you're getting sassy with the attorney, like, the judge sees that and takes that into consideration for the whole. So if it's already going against you and you're having these big reactions against, the attorney who's just trying to do their job, even though they're pushing buttons a bit. Like, so preparation is really important for trials and hearings and things like that.
I would say judges recently have been putting in their orders their observation of parties.
Yes.
They've included observations that maybe parties weren't paying attention, were glancing off, didn't seem, like they were participating in the trial. That surprised us that those were included, but it's everything's on the table at that point. I think if you constantly have a client who is not willing to answer questions on the stand, that's really damaging for their credibility. Even if it's a cross-examination where opposing counsel is asking you a question and the answer is not good, right?
Right.
You just need to answer yes or no, because ultimately we'll be able to address it in our direct. We'll clean it up. You have to trust your attorney to do that, though. If you push back on every little thing they ask, refuse to answer yes or no, get defensive, get reactive, it doesn't really show great in family law cases, because ultimately, in order to parent children, you have to be able to communicate and work together. And if you're being reactive on the stand, it doesn't look great for you.
Yeah. And so your courtroom presence is important. Another thing that's important is how you've conducted yourself up to that point. So we're talking about exhibits.
Text messages.
I was going to ask what, one of the biggest things you see, and you answered it before I asked, but text messages.
I can't, we offer text messages all the time. I have clients constantly sending me screenshots of messages through the parenting apps. I currently have this PDF on my computer that is over 100 pages of messages between the parties on their app close. And I read every single line. I certainly did. And the judges are going to read it. You have to remember that text messages take out tone, so people can articulate them in different ways, I guess.
Right.
Name calling is really bad.
Yeah.
We need to not do that in text message.
Yeah.
because it's for sure going to be offered.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you may be forced to read it on the record.
Yeah, that, on the other
Because
side of that.
I'm asking you to read
yes,
it. For sure.
That's my favorite thing to do. Like
Yeah.
if you called my client a bad name, I'm going to have you read that text message.
Yep.
So you say it again.
Yep, every single time.
Yeah.
And I'm not letting you spell it out. You're just going to say the word.
You're going to say it. Yep. Yeah. And so that's important thing to remember when you're going through the process is anything you do or say or post, that can be Exhibit A.
And it doesn't go away.
No.
It doesn't. It's got every little argument you have with that person, even though it's week 1 of divorce, it's going to get brought up in trial.
Mm-hmm.
And attorneys cherry pick. So you could have really great conversations and you have this one weak moment. Don't have the weak moment.
Right.
Put the phone down, walk away. Call me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about it for however long you want to, but don't send it.
Just don't send it. Yeah.
Speaking of calling, feel free to call our office. We're happy to schedule a consult with you. You could connect with us on our social medias. I do consults literally all the time.
Yeah.
And I love them. I think it's great to talk to people, answer questions. People do consults without fully retaining us.
Yes.
We call it info gathering. We're happy to answer questions for you, just because I think there truly is a misconception of what actually goes on in a divorce or custody case.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah.
Loved chatting. We'll hopefully see everyone next time.
Yes.
Maybe in another episode.
All right.
Yay.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Lady Lawyer League podcast, and be sure to like and subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. If you would like to learn more about our firm, Hightower Ref Law, please visit our website at hrlawomaha.com.